Middlesex fell to a 21-run defeat to Kent in their latest one-day cup outing at Radlett. Kent were asked to bat in a match reduced to 35 overs per side, and James Harris made the most of that by bowling to Wanda Mayai with the last ball of the opening over. That was immediately backed up by Ethan Bamber, who was spot on with his very first delivery. Kent 2 down with 7 runs on the board after 7 deliveries. Middlesex could hardly have wished for a better start and would have been hopeful of running through the Kent top order. But instead, George Munsey and Jack Leaning began to put bat to ball. In fact, in spite of those very early losses, these two scored freely, finding boundaries quite easy as they quickly took their third wicket partnership past 50. Leaning went after Tilan Walalawita, clearing the rope with ease as the Spitfires reached 59 for 2. And Leaning and Munsey continued to press on, with the Middlesex attack unable to stem the flow of runs, this pair taking their stand to 86, made from 14 overs. Walalawita was the man to break through, Leaning on a runner ball 35, playing over the top of a well-flighted delivery, just what the home side needed. Josh De Caires was brought on to bowl the next over, the 17th, and with his second ball, he persuaded Harry Finch to pull a long hop straight to Martin Anderson. De Caires will bowl many more better wicket-taking deliveries. That was his first for Middlesex. And this too was a magical moment for Toby Greatwood, a 19-year-old making his professional debut, and with just his 9th delivery, he had Munsey taken behind for 59. Kent on 120 for 5 after 20. The youngster had figures of 2 for 14 from 4 overs, his second victim that of Grant Stewart, who drove with force but straight to Varun Chopra in the covers. Middlesex knew that more wickets now would have them on top as they looked to make it 3 wins on the bounce in this competition. However, they were held up by Marcus O'Riordan and Hamidullah Kadri, who first bedded in together and then let loose. O'Riordan reaching his maiden List A 50 of 47 balls. He then took his team beyond 200 with 2 of their 35 overs remaining. He failed to add much more damage as he tried to take on the throw of Walalawita in order to keep hold of the strike. Even though he decided against that, he was still run out for 60. Bamber had the ball for the final over and used his slower delivery to get rid of James Logan. And he backed that up next ball as Nathan Gilchrist edged to Walalawita. Bamber with 3 for 41 as the visitors ended their 35 overs on 217 for 9. Chasing down that target was made more difficult when Stevie Eskenazi helped a short ball from Stewart to deep mid-wicket, the in-form opener out in the first over for a duck. Max Holden injected some much-needed impetus to the chase with this maximum, but the hosts were 2 down with 18 runs on the board in the 7th over, Chopra edging Gilchrist to Leaning at slip. That brought in Peter Hanscom, who looked in tremendous touch from the off. But having raced to 17, he was leg before to Gilchrist, the ball perhaps keeping a little low. Gilchrist was having the time of his life and bagged the 3rd wicket as Robbie White was also leg before. Middlesex now up against it on 49 for 4. That became 70 for 5 in the 15th. Holden now gone for 32, bowled behind his legs. Middlesex just couldn't get a partnership, and next to fall was Anderson, who used a leading edge to offer Leaning the simplest of catches in the covers. 6 men were back in the hutch by the time 3 figures were posted. It was left to the experienced Harris and the inexperienced De Caires to try to keep their side in this contest. For the first time in the chase, Middlesex were able to find 2 players who complemented each other. Boundaries started to be found, and that brought the target down to 73 from the last 10 overs. Harris clearing the rope off Logan with a mighty blow as the 50-run partnership was secured in just 6 overs. These two needed to keep going. Alas, they didn't. Harris had batted really well, but on 34 he was done by a ball from Matt Quinn, which cut back sharply off the pitch and took the inside edge. Harris's runs had occupied only 26 deliveries. Wallaluita has already shown in this tournament that he can hit a big ball, and he nailed this shot off Quinn. Middlesex left to find 56 more runs from 7 overs. The match slipped away when De Caires, on the best score of his fledgling career of 43, chose the wrong shot at the wrong time and was legged before. Gilchrist then returned and bagged his 4th wicket. Wallaluita brilliantly held in the deep by Kadri, out for 13 with his team on 184 for 9, 34 more needed by the last pair in 4 overs. Greywood had a great day in spite of the loss, he edging his first ever 4. But he was left stranded on 7 when Bamba, who had 20 runs to his name, picked out Quinn off Gilchrist, who ended with figures of 5 for 45. Middlesex all out for 196. That meant a loss by 21 runs, a disappointing outcome for sure, but in a tight group, Middlesex still have plenty to play for. They return to Radlett on Sunday for the visit of Gloucestershire in a must-win game for both teams.